A lot of times we hear and we say nice things. Things such as, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we're able to ask, think, or even imagine. It sounds good. You know, for a lot of us, we have heard that a lot and we have probably even said it as part of our declaration. But when it comes down to it, do we really believe that God is able to do more than we could even ask, think, or even imagine? Do we think that we serve a God who is able to show up in our different circumstances and just allow some things to happen that just blows our mind? And in this video, I want to talk about an experience that I had a short while ago, you know, where God just showed up for me, and I really want to share it with somebody. And He did the exceedingly abundantly above anything that I had even thought or imagined. You know, this is my personal testimony to somebody that God is able. So back in December on my birthday, it was a few days before my birthday, and I had this idea to premiere a video that I was working on. I had no plans before that. You know, I thought to myself I would just probably have lunch with a friend. But then this idea just dropped in my mind. Sandie, why don't you get a group of friends together and premiere the video? So I started planning that. You know, I said to myself, I'm going to do it at Triple Century, get people together, and I started planning. I remember on the night, you know, I didn't want persons to come to the dinner table and just sit down and not have anything to eat. So I asked the persons there to put out some finger food, some wings, some quesadillas, stuff like that. You know, so they prepped the table, they had stuff out. And that night I had two friends who came along who didn't have money to purchase dinner. And my younger sister was there with her friend. And of course, I would have to pay for them as well, including the finger food that I had at the table. And I remember there was this point at the dinner table where in my mind, I was calculating how much money I would have to pay. People were ordering food, and I was saying to myself in my mind, this was all internal, I was saying to myself, well, I have to pay for the finger food, I have to pay for these two friends, I have to pay for my sister, and I was checking how much money I would have had to pay that night. And I had planned to go off on vacation, and I didn't want to spend too much. So while everybody was there ordering, it was the night of my birthday, I was calculating the bill as we do sometimes. Maybe not on your birthday, but certainly you do a budget when you're supposed to get paid and all that stuff, but that's something else. So there I was at the dinner table worrying about the bill and how much money I would be spending. And everybody ordered. And that night I had invited a friend to come, and she had asked me before she came if she could bring someone else. And I said yes, of course. And while we were there at the dinner table, there is something interesting that happened. While I was checking everything in my mind, I remember when I got to a place and I said to myself, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. I said, I will pay it. God will give me more money. It was in my head, but I thought about it. And I remember when I had that thought, and when I got to that place, I just released it. I said, you know, I'm not going to think about it. I said, God will give me more money, and I let it go. And something so interesting happened a few moments after that. The very friend who I invited, she came to me and she said, Sandie, I'm gonna have to leave because I have to pick up my son. And I said, okay. She said, I'm sorry that I couldn't stay. And I said, no man, that is fine. And then she said to me, have you ordered? And I said, yes. And she said to me, my friend says that he wants to pay the bill. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? And she said, yes, he wants to pay the bill. And I said, wow. I said, thank you so much. And she said, has everybody else ordered? And I said, yes. And she said to me, he's going to pay for everything. And I was like, oh my gosh. She said, check if everybody has ordered and let me know, and we'll go to the waitress and we'll just cover the bill. We'll take care of everything. And I said, wow. I didn't even know what to say. I was so dumbfounded. I was just there like, oh my gosh. And then they went away, they got the bill, they paid the bill, and they came back and they gave me the bill with a receipt. And everything was paid. Over $25,000 worth of food was paid for. Every single thing. That night, I didn't have to spend not 1 cent. And you know, it's one of those moments in my life that's big. I mean, other things have happened, you know, that are big, but that's one of my points of reference about how God can show up for you in your different circumstances. You know, there are a lot of things that we're worrying about. There are a lot of things that we're concerned about. You know, persons want to go to school. There are different expenses that you have, and when you look at it, you say to yourself, you say, God, how am I going to do this? How is this going to work out? And you're looking at it in your own strength. But what I did on that night is that I got to a place when I just released it. I released it in faith, and I put my trust in God. I didn't even know that that is what I was doing at the time. But I said to myself, God will give me money. God will give me more money. It's okay for me to do this. It's okay for me to make this step. I am not going to allow it to bother my mind. I am not going to allow it to cause me to worry. I'm not going to allow it to cause me to fret, because God will, because God is able. And that's a message for somebody today, that yes, indeed, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you're able to ask, think, or even imagine. Yes, He is. And all He wants us to do is just to release all the things, all our concerns, just to cast them and put them down at His feet. And just wait, be still, and know that He's capable to work everything out. He's able.